You are cautioned and encouraged to demand and study the materials, conditions, fees, obligations, and disclaimers of any network marketing company with which you may choose to become associated.
Like an avalanche gathering speed and volume, our world is being propelled forward. The changes we are seeing in the Middle East, in Europe, and throughout the world are dizzying. Worldwide communications, the globalizing economy, the geopolitical turmoil, all are signs of the terrific changes we are facing. Who would have dreamed even a few years ago that the Eastern Bloc countries of Europe would be having free elections? Or who would have thought even 20 years ago that the United States would be facing such monumental economic struggles?
Please welcome TV and radio personality, author, business consultant, and one of America's most dynamic speakers, winner of the CPAE Award for Platform Excellence and the National Speakers Association's Oscar, the Cavett Award, Mr. Ty Boyd.
Hello, I'm Ty Boyd, and I want to spend the next few minutes talking about many of the changes you are facing. Not all of these shifts are big or necessarily good, nor may all apply directly to you. However, these changes will shape your world. And before you finish listening to this cassette, I promise to offer several fascinating yet practical ideas for putting together specific strategies that you can use to tap into the best profit patterns being created in our ever-changing world. Let's get started. What is the state of our world financially speaking? What's ahead for you in the next 5, 10, and 20 years? Well, let me propel you forward to see what the best minds of our world are forecasting for the remainder of the 1990s and beyond. Doctors, for example, will probably be able to eliminate many genetic diseases. They may even restore lost sight and memory. In addition, a new era of wellness interest in preventative health may revolutionize healthcare and the insurance industries. Workers will labor more intensively, but will work less time, perhaps as little as 32 hours a week. The predominantly white male workforce is rapidly becoming a memory. By the year 2000, 80% of all women ages 25 to 54 will head for the workplace each morning. Minorities will account for 25% of the labor force, up from 20%. As an outgrowth of the rapidly changing ratio of single parents and households with two working parents, a greater number of companies will make quality daycare readily available. Housing in crowded cities' thoroughfares will continue to be causes of great concern. Many cities will have to focus on urban development. Since 1968, the median price of single-family houses has gone up more than 300%. Fiberglass houses, mass-produced and delivered by floating airships beyond suburbs, will ease housing costs and the growing problem of homeless people. Long-distance commuters will travel on high-speed mass transit systems. Also, many out-of-the-way places of great scenic beauty and geographic diversity will become a magnet for those who desire a high degree of personal freedom and who opt for running national and international businesses from home-based offices. Medically, most heart bypass operations will be eliminated by the year 2000 in favor of less intrusive procedures or clot-dissolving drugs. Robotics, although increasingly widespread throughout the workplace, will replace only a tiny fraction of the estimated 131 million people in the U.S. labor force by 1997. For every working robot, there will still be more than 400 people working. Automobiles will be guided by remote control on electronic highways. Traffic lights and gates tied to a central computer will control access and movement. Many homes will be protected by relatively inexpensive laser shields and artificial intelligence home security systems. And future wars may be fought on supercomputers, an outgrowth of the unprecedented success of our computerized surgical strikes that decimated the enemy forces in the Iraq War. Many thanks for this must go to President Ronald Reagan for rebuilding the armed forces during the 1980s, and to President Bush for utilizing the latest technology as a highly effective commander-in-chief. All in all, these predictions are breathtaking. But let's slow down a bit and take a look at tomorrow's world of business. What do corporate leaders forecast? Well, let me share a few predictions from a recent issue of Fortune magazine. Increased globalization of business seems a virtual certainty. Executives and managers will be required to be more people-minded, flexible, and innovative-oriented. Flatter organizations with fewer and fewer layers of information and management hierarchy will become more of a fixture of corporations. We'll move beyond participative management and into a new era of worker empowerment and experimentation. Computers, of course, will become even more necessary to both workers, managers, executives, and shareholders who are concerned with keeping up on what's going on within a company. Innovation will become increasingly important as foreign competition continues to require greater speed, technology, and quality. And a greater number of options, work and career-wise, will be available to each one of us. The problem with all of these coming innovations and changes is that so few people are really prepared to face tomorrow. Well, how about you? Can you survive financially? Before I pursue that question with you, let's explore a few facts of life, financially speaking. Fact: the average American will have to work 125 days, or 34% of their time, to pay federal, state, and local taxes. In all likelihood, that amount will increase during the next decade. Fact: a recent poll by USA Today revealed that 63% of Americans think about money or their financial situation either frequently or all the time. Fact: the International Association for Financial Planning revealed that 1/4 of the people who were polled said that future generations will be worse off financially, and 2/3 of the respondents feared they would outlive their retirement funds. Fact: Fortune 500 companies have slashed 3.5 million jobs from payrolls in the past decade. Fact: a University of Michigan survey has shown that in any decade, 3 out of 4 American families are likely to suffer a serious threat to their economic well-being, such as a layoff, a disabling illness, divorce, or widowhood. Nearly 1/3 of the families in this survey saw their own standard of living drop 50%, at least temporarily, as a result of such catastrophes. Fact: average personal income has increased from nearly $5,000 in 1965 to approximately $17,000, but after inflation, workers' income averages only $140 more each year now than it did then. Fact: the 10 people currently vying for every middle management spot will grow to 30 by 1995. Fact: fewer jobs mean slower promotions, maybe even none. Fact: a decade ago, white male managers peaked in their careers at 47 or later. Now they top out career-wise between 40 and 42. Worse, minorities and women tend to plateau by age 38. We're talking about financial survival. Specifically, how financially healthy are you? And to understand your present situation, start by looking at the 7 danger signals of debt. 1. Stretching your credit limit. 2. Paying minimum payments on your installment accounts. 3. Using savings to pay bills. 4. Using credit or borrowing to pay basic bills. 5. Obtaining more credit to pay for existing debts. 6. Credit blur, or having only a vague idea of who and how much money you owe. 7. Using 20% or more of your regular income to pay installment debts. How about you? Are there any danger signals you can recognize in your present financial situation? Even if you're not overwhelmed by debt, how secure is your financial future? A true picture of your economic outlook requires facing hard facts about your current income, your debt structure, and overall portfolio. With inflated expenses, a greater tax bite, and deflated incomes on the horizon, fewer and fewer Americans have the most basic cash and assets on hand to survive an economic decline or work slowdown. In short, a recession of any magnitude. Test yourself. Crisis cash. Do you have enough liquid assets or cash in hand to equal 6 months' income in case of an economic tragedy? Disability income. Even if you were unable to work, do you have enough money to maintain at least 80% of your family's current lifestyle for at least 2 years? If you fail to meet either of these 2 basic requirements, you're not financially secure, no matter what your current job or profession may be. If you do have any of the danger signals cropping up, you are probably already looking at ways to increasing your ability to survive financially. How do you do that? What are the keys to financial survival? How do you develop a practical solution to financial survival during the 1990s and beyond? Well, in a capsule, you'll either have to make a lot more money or reduce your expenses. You should have a savings and retirement plan, but the average American family today saves less than 4% of its disposable income. It's apparent that savings will provide economic security for few people. Making profitable investments is another way of developing income, but most investments today, even real estate, are hardly for the faint-hearted. Reducing expenses is also a wonderful idea, but most budgets are already stretched to the limit. Moonlighting is admirable, but most people with a second or third income seldom reach any level of financial security. Borrowing, receiving an inheritance, winning a lawsuit, gambling, finding money, having money fall from heaven are hardly ways for the majority of us to survive financially. Basically, we can eliminate those 9 ways of sketching a more secure financial outlook. There are basically only 2 ways for most of us to make more money. One is to climb the corporate ladder. The other is to own your own business. What about working up the corporate ladder? Well, there are at least 6 challenges for those who spend a lifetime working up the corporate ladder. Working for others will tap your talents to make someone else rich, and at the same end, you may receive a gold watch. You will inevitably be trapped by taxes. The most common tax bracket in America for corporate climbers is 28%. Inflation will erode your earning potential. Retirement may be a great disappointment since most corporate pension plans are sadly lacking. Throughout your career, somebody else controls your agenda, your lifestyle, your future, and determines how much you are worth. Often, corporate ladder climbing leads to severe self-esteem damage. The other way of earning more money and ensuring a greater level of financial security is through owning your own business. And that's what I want to talk about during the remainder of this tape. How about owning your own business? Well, the American entrepreneurial spirit is alive and well. The number of small businesses and startups have nearly doubled in the past decade. As the year 2000 nears, free enterprise is becoming an achievable dream for many men and women. The joy of being one's own boss and the possibilities of making it big on my own have captured the attention of millions of Americans. In fact, believe it or not, among America's top MBA graduates, those who can earn $50,000 or more upon graduation, guess what the highest career choice is, according to a recent study by the University of Pittsburgh among the 10 top business schools. In a USA Today survey, respondents were asked, what company would you most like to work for? IBM was mentioned, so was AT&T and a few others. What was the most popular answer? Myself. Of the 4 long-term career goals stated by MBA grads, the least popular was that of university faculty member. Third on the list was manager of a government agency. Second to the highest career goal was 34% who wanted to be a high-ranking executive. Topping the list with 49% of all top MBA grads was independent entrepreneur or consultant. On a related note, from another survey reported by USA Today, adults from across the nation were asked what they would do if they suddenly won $1 million. Some said they'd try a new profession. Others said they would either quit working or go back to school. The highest percentage said that they would start their own business. Why? Well, for starters, unlike so many predictions about Orwell's Big Brother surveillance machinations, the new technologies of the information and computer age have actually opened the door to individual attainment and free enterprise, not just in the United States, but around the world. At the same time, opportunities abound for anyone who understands the future and dares to own his or her own business. Job layoffs and corporate downsizings have created a flood of interest in business ownership. During the past decade, Fortune 500 companies have eliminated over 3.5 million jobs. Corporate America is discovering that bigger is not always better, so miniaturization and niching are becoming more commonplace. As a result, thousands of entrepreneurs will be able to run small businesses with a manageable amount of inventory and room. Most importantly, with inflation low, an increasingly affluent, increasingly middle-aged and older society will generate enormous opportunities for innovative entrepreneurs and marketers with ideas for products and services. If the past 5 years are any indication, it's apparent that smaller firms will provide most of the nation's employment growth. Big companies will grow more slowly and will increasingly become venture capital centers themselves, helping to nurture new startups and products within their own ranks. Now, what does this mean for you? Well, Austin Kiplinger, editor-in-chief of the Kiplinger Letters, predicts, quote, after weighing the pros and cons with people on the firing line of research, technology, management, and marketing, I believe this country is poised for one of its strongest periods of solid growth based on new techniques and new technologies. Evidence is mounting that the U.S. economy in the 1990s and extending into the 21st century will raise American living standards to new high records for U.S. consumers and will increase the American share of business in world markets. End quote. Well, how will you benefit from the coming boom? More importantly, do you have what it takes to own your own business? Said Nora Watson, a publishing executive, quote, I think most of us are looking for a calling, not a job. Most of us, like the assembly line worker, have jobs that are too small for our spirit. Jobs are not big enough for people. End quote. Does that describe you? Are you languishing in a job that has grown too small? Are you ready, willing, and able to be an entrepreneur and to own your own business? What are the reasons for owning your own business? Well, there are many great reasons for owning a business. People everywhere want a slice of the pie rather than working for decades to make someone else rich. Ownerships offer status and pride. Being a business owner can help you become a vital force in your community. Properly managed ownership can build equity and security for the future. But what kind of person decides to take the ownership plunge? Well, consider. Only 5% of Americans have a business, yet at least 65% of all men and women dream of running their own enterprises. Today, 40% of all new businesses are started by women, up from 15% a decade ago. Of all the firms in the United States, only 9.8% qualify as large corporations, while small businesses account for the remaining 90.2%. Of the nearly 1 million people who started businesses each year, 40% have some management experience. Coming up with the idea for a business is the easy part. What's tough is getting started and making it work long term. There are risks. You can lose a lot of money and sleep. You may not be able to depend on a regular income. However, there are many rewards. You'll be better able to control your own destiny. You can work at something you enjoy. If you succeed, one of the greatest perks of all is financial independence. You'll be part of the backbone of America. Are you interested? Well, the good news is that of the 100 businesses that begin this year, 30 will still be operating, and a good number of those business owners will be more grateful than ever that they followed their dreams. Every business has inherent risks. Likewise, every business has a high potential for failure, no matter how great the enterprise may be. Granted, businesses must start with a saleable product or service and an effective marketing strategy, but to achieve success, a business also must be effectively managed. In addition, successful entrepreneurs must raise the initial capital to start up or to acquire a business. In the beginning, a business owner generally assumes total responsibility for every detail of daily operations, meeting payrolls, obtaining and maintaining adequate financing and suppliers, and above all, generating cash flow and profits. What's more, even if they can cope with these matters, entrepreneurs have no guarantee of success. Products become obsolete quickly. The marketplace is in a state of turbulent, continual, accelerated change. Thousands of small businesses, 50,000 or more, fade away each year. Of 100 businesses that start this year, 20 will be gone before 365 days pass. At least 17 more will not make it to their second anniversary. Within the first 5 years, 70 or more of the initial 100 will be dusty memories. In other words, the entrepreneurial world is literally a minefield unless you make the best possible choices. And that's what this tape is all about, making the best choices of business ownership.
This is the end of Side 1. Please turn the cassette over for the continuation of this program.
Now, what are the ways people can own their own business? Well, of the ways to own your own business, there are essentially three. 1, starting a new business. 2, buying an existing one. 3, buying into a franchise. Or 4, tapping into the world of networking. Let's take them one at a time. What about a startup business? You want to start your own business? You're not alone. The latest figures suggest that Americans this year will start about 700,000 new corporations, 100,000 new partnerships, and 500,000 new sole proprietorships, about 1.3 million new enterprises in all. In 1950, by comparison, there were only 90,000 new incorporations and very few new partnerships. That today there are so many more would-be company builders, however, doesn't mean it's any easier. If you're among them, you no doubt wonder what you could do or where you should go to maximize your chances for success. Well, the most frequently started businesses, according to David L. Birch, director of MIT's program on neighborhood and regional changes, are 1, business services. 2, eating and drinking places. 3, shopping goods. 4, automotive repair shops. 5, residential construction. 6, machinery and equipment wholesalers. 7, real estate operators. 8, retail stores. 9, furniture and furnishings retailers. 10, computer and data processing services. Now, let's assume that survival, not spectacular growth, is your main business goal. If you want to worry as little as possible about failure and focus instead on building a long-term success, the businesses most likely to survive, according to the same researchers, are 1, veterinary services. 2, funeral services. 3, dentists' offices. 4, commercial savings banks. 5, hotels and motels. 6, campground and trailer parks. 7, physicians' offices. 8, barbershops. 9, bowling and billiards places. 10, cash grain crop growers. Several of these entries obviously require substantial professional expertise or expensive equipment. Well, businesses that are most likely to grow significantly include 1, commercial savings banks. 2, electronic component manufacturers. 3, paperboard container manufacturers. 4, computer and office machine manufacturers. 5, paper product manufacturers. 6, plastic product manufacturers. 7, basic steel manufacturers. 8, pharmaceutical manufacturers. 9, communication equipment manufacturers. 10, partition and fixture manufacturers. Now, contrary to what many people think about the so-called rusting of America, 9 out of 10 of the industries with the highest odds of significant growth are in manufacturing. And that's the good news. The bad news is that these are not the easiest businesses to get into, nor are their survival rankings very good. None is likely to provide you with easy entry, security, and reward. You'll be forced to choose those characteristics that matter most to you and then brave the absence of the others. Now, 2, how about buying an existing business? Many fledgling entrepreneurs are seeing that the fastest, easiest path to becoming their own boss is through purchasing an existing firm instead of the torturous route of building from the ground up. A buyout is not a bad idea. Your primary objective, after all, is to get into your own business with as little cash as possible. Buying a business can be a significant alternative to starting one. Buying, in fact, may be even wiser than building your own when you consider the dozens of businesses that are available. Acquire or launch? There's no one right answer. Your decision rests on the facts and given situation. Buying an existing business seems to make sense, especially for someone who's not operated his or her own enterprise before. Now, when you buy a going enterprise, most of what you need will already be in place. Customers, suppliers, employees, even a name and reputation. But there are downsides to buying an existing business, of course. In the vast majority of cases, the business being bought may have underlying problems that you as the new owner will have to overcome. Also, the seller is usually going to do everything they can to keep you from knowing the mistakes being made. Still, all things being considered, buying an existing business makes sense most of the time. Now, another way to own your own business is through franchising. Franchising has been around for more than 3 decades, but it's become a frenzy sweeping across the nation during the past 10 years, and it shows no sign of slowing down. Every 15 minutes, a new franchised store opens. Consider Subway Sandwiches and Salads of Milford, Connecticut, the nation's fastest-growing franchise, is blitzing the country with 23 new restaurants every week. It expects to have 9,000 outlets by 1996. Mailboxes, etc., USA of San Diego, California, launches about one store every day. More than one-third of the nation's retail revenues come from franchised businesses, even though only 10% of retail firms are franchises. Already, the nation's more than 500,000 franchise businesses are doing nearly $700 billion a year, double the revenues earned a decade ago. Why the boom? Well, people who buy a business want the odds stacked in their favor. Owning a franchise gives people the freedom to be self-employed with the power of a large organization. Big business believes in franchises. Huge companies such as Ashland Oil are creating divisions to franchise products and services, acquire franchise companies, or convert company units into franchised units. Thousands of people decide each year to buy a franchise. It's usually less risky than starting from scratch or acquiring an individually owned venture, since a good franchise company provides training and support to help you succeed. You may make a profit faster and earn a greater return on investment than with similar independent businesses. It's often easier to get franchising, too, because franchisers often guarantee loans. The advantages don't come for nothing. A franchise usually costs far more than an enterprise owned by an individual. You may have to come up with a sizable chunk of cash for a down payment. You'll pay royalties on top of the initial cost of the franchise, and you forfeit a lot of control over the operation of the business. You have to lay out and run the franchise according to rules spelled out by the franchisor, even down to color schemes and recipes, often with little or no deviation. Once you decide to buy, you will pay up front for a building, renting space, renovating, leasing, or buying equipment and buying inventory. Then, you'll pay the franchising firm a one-time franchise fee and a monthly royalty fee, usually from 3 to 7% of revenues. Franchising is an economic force that will undoubtedly continue to grow as we move into the 21st century. McDonald's, Neiman Marcus, Domino's, Wendy's, Marriott Inns, Holiday Inns, Exxon, 7-Eleven stores. There are numerous companies who make franchises available to those visionaries who can grasp the profit-making power of duplication. Franchising is an excellent idea, but before you rush out and grab up the hottest one, check applicable state and federal laws. Approximately 20% of the states in the U.S. regulate the offer and sale of franchises. Nearly all of them require the franchisor to register with a state agency before selling an enterprise in that state. Other states have business opportunity laws that may regulate newer franchise companies whose trademarks are not yet federally registered. In addition, the Federal Trade Commission requires every franchise firm to provide buyers with a full disclosure form. It has 20 categories of information, including a financial statement, fees, investment required by buyers, and the litigation history of the company. Franchising can be attractive because it's a little easier than going it alone. However, if you decide to buy a franchise, existing or startup, have your business broker, attorney, and accountant review all documents. Now, just remember that franchises are generally very expensive, and there are the usual problems with startup costs, employee training, location, and other limitations. Frankly, most of us don't have enough of that green stuff sitting in our bank accounts to put up our own golden arches. Well, let me ask you a question. What if you could put the very best of starting, buying, and franchising your own business all together? And what if this advanced form of doing business could be made available to anyone with an entrepreneurial spirit, regardless of education or job background? This exciting way of owning your own business is called network marketing, and it may be your answer to financial survival. Financial survival and success in network marketing relates to the ingenious concept of duplication. Throughout the centuries, successful people have learned this pattern of duplication, but the 20th century has brought some interesting new twists to this idea. Technological and communication advances now have made it possible for you to share your marketing ideas personally with dozens of associates and eventually with hundreds and thousands, and yes, for some individuals in large network organizations, even millions through duplication. Networking is a concept that's been used not just in the United States, but in Canada and throughout the free world, and is available for you to expand your business internationally. It's a time-proven concept that allows people like you and me, regardless of our education, our experience, or financial portfolio, to have the potential of becoming successful entrepreneurs. Practically anything can be distributed through the concept of network marketing, and practically everything is. Some experts believe that between 50 and 65% of all goods and services will be offered through network marketing during the next decade. Network marketing has even been called the wave of the future. It's virtually exploding throughout the free world. The beauty of this system is that it offers both positive income potential and room at the top for a large number of entrepreneurs, people from all walks of life. In other words, now you don't have to go back in time to get in on the ground floor of Coca-Cola, nor do you have to put together a 25-year association of attorneys, nor do you have to plunk down $750,000 to buy a fast food franchise. As a network marketing business person, now you have many powerful options: control of your own success, flexibility, freedom, and an opportunity for worldwide growth. As a network marketing entrepreneur, you are able, through a time-tested and highly efficient system, to tap into an array of numerous proven products and services. You can not only enjoy wholesale purchases for yourself and a secondary income diversification, but you can have access to a proven success system. As a networking entrepreneur, you can be in business for yourself. You can market products and services that are in great demand. You can build your successes on the successes of others. Simply put, the future of networking can be your ticket to virtually any lifestyle you desire. You have the potential to become an independent, successful, financially free business owner. What you have to provide is your imagination, your ambition, and a will to work. If you desire success and have plenty of creative ambition, the future of networking can be whatever you decide to make of it. You can develop the proven process of duplication while avoiding the large risks, employee problems, and location difficulties of starting, buying, or franchising a more traditional business. Networking has become accepted as the marketing concept for the 90s, and it can maximize your own future. One of the greatest advantages of network marketing is that it can be a home-based business. A new breed of men and women are increasingly doing business at home. Already more than 15 million people are running full-time businesses from their homes, with an additional 16 million who either have part-time businesses or who are part of corporate America's work-at-home programs, or who moonlight from their homes. More and more companies are permitting, even encouraging, employees to telecommute to the office. As a result, a growing migration of individuals and families are forsaking large metropolitan areas for smaller towns and rural areas. This spells boom for enterprising men and women, especially those who are interested in establishing service-oriented businesses. According to a survey conducted by Gifford Publishing Company, 46.1% of people who plan to buy or build homes say they'll be using their home offices to operate a business. Why such a growing home-based industry? Well, there's several reasons. Relatively new technology, computers, fax machines, modems, voicemail systems, answering machines, and integrated software have made it possible for entrepreneurs to establish an office with minimal or no staff. These innovative methods can provide you, no matter where you live, with the flexibility and freedom to connect to the world instantly. Plus, major corporations are opting for contracting with entrepreneurs rather than hiring persons on staff due to high cost of benefits and overhead. More mergers, acquisitions, and buyouts are causing middle and upper management personnel to be without jobs, often more than once. A home-based business often represents a chance to guarantee long-term income with minimal investment. It's no wonder that home-based, low-investment businesses are booming, especially when you consider the rewards of a home-based business. In fact, the director of the American Home Business Administration estimates that by the year 2000, 40 million or more people will run businesses from their homes. It's no wonder that network marketing and home-based businesses are both on a spectacular rise. They make a perfect blend. Now, where do you go from here? Well, the point I've tried to make is this. You have more choices in the marketplace, more say at work, and a greater role in shaping your future than any previous generation. You have an opportunity to survive and succeed financially by making the right choices. One of the best options available to you is owning your own business. Truly, the great American dream. Entrepreneurship remains one of America's greatest avenues for making more money. If you decide to pursue business ownership, you should look for specific characteristics. Your business should, 1, help you work smart, not hard. 2, be service-oriented. 3, focus on making a difference in life, not just a living. 4, help build net worth for you, not just for others. 5, maximize the time that you invest. 6, require low capitalization. 7, renew your energy because you love your work. 8, not violate your conscience. 9, build your dignity and self-esteem. 10, enhance your personal relationships. 11, be residual-based, producing ongoing income no matter what. 12, ultimately, create financial independence. Nothing, to my knowledge, fits the bill like network marketing. Networking can be an important part of planning for your future. You can improve your chances for financial survival during the upcoming years. But how do you begin? Well, let yourself think for a moment what it means now that you've been introduced to the opportunity that can suddenly thrust you into a position to make your time and your money work for you, instead of living a life where you're constantly working against deadlines and not having enough money. Well, right now you are determining your future through your choices. You may choose to keep your job until you retire at 65. It may be exactly what you want to do. But most jobs offer only temporary security. It goes without saying that today's marketplace, with its takeovers, mergers, downsizings, makes any one of us rather expendable. Plus, your lifestyle, hours spent working, promotions, working conditions, retirement benefits, type of pay, even vacations, are determined by someone else, often someone in a human resources department with whom you may never have had any personal contact. Most jobs in a capsule offer us a chance to build someone else's business. They allow us to barely survive while using our talents and labor and creativity to make other people rich. That's not the way it should be. And your choice to move into network marketing can help you obtain your freedom. Well, what about you? What will tomorrow bring? You can build your future by facing the real facts and doing whatever it takes to improve your chances for not only survival but success in the 1990s and beyond. Begin today by contacting the professional who has provided you with this brochure for a brief explanation of one of America's most exciting opportunities in owning your own profitable business. This is Ty Boyd. Thanks for spending the past few minutes with me. I wish you much success as you decide to do even more with the opportunity that's now within your hands, and as you put together your strategies for financial survival and success.
This tape is distributed by independent business people as an information service to you and is not endorsed by any manufacturer or supplier who these business people may represent.